So representatives for Dillon Gabriel reached out to me to try to give me a cease and desist order. And I was willing and ready and rock and roll, ready to go to court. So I triple dare your representative to take me to court. In fact, Dillon Gabriel, I want you, bitch boy, take me to court.
It all started with a message. Representatives for Dillon Gabriel reached out, threatening a cease and desist order. The reason? The internet was ablaze with stories of Shedeur Sanders outshining Gabriel at Brown's training camp, and apparently Gabriel's camp wasn't thrilled about the narrative. The message was clear: we're willing and ready to go to court. The response: triple dare you, let's do it. But this wasn't just about legal threats. It was about pride, reputation, and the high-stakes world of NFL quarterbacking, where every snap is scrutinized and every rumor can go viral in seconds.
I can't imagine there's many people that think Dillon Gabriel's a better quarterback than Shedeur Sanders. I don't care where they were drafted. If the Browns are the one team that thinks that, then I'm going to suspect it's not true. They don't know what they're doing.
They've been on every quarterback evaluation.
Yeah.
If you thought NFL training camps were just about sweat drills and playbooks, think again. This year, the Cleveland Browns rookie quarterback battle has turned into a spectacle that's part sports highlight, part legal thriller, an all-out reality show. At the center of the storm, two young QBs, the cool, unflappable Shedeur Sanders and the determined, battle-tested Dillon Gabriel. But when Shedeur's on-field dominance left Gabriel in the shadows, the drama didn't just stay on the gridiron. It spilled into the legal world. Memes, the hearts of fans, everywhere. Buckle up. This isn't just a quarterback competition. It's a culture clash, a viral sensation. And maybe, just maybe, the wildest rookie camp story the NFL has seen in years.
I'd be surprised if Dillon Gabriel's ever a legitimate starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. I'd be surprised. I just don't think.
Well, then it is a wasted pick because you took him in the top 100.
Yeah, but potentially, may get away with it because of Shedeur.
From playbook to paperwork, when football meets courtroom drama. Imagine this: Shedeur Sanders turns training camp into his personal highlight reel, dazzling coaches and teammates with throws so precise they might as well be guided by GP. Meanwhile, Dillon Gabriel, instead of drawing up a game plan, is allegedly drawing up legal paperwork. Did Shedeur's throws really trigger a lawsuit? Or was Gabriel just allergic to being outshined? Either way, the story was irresistible. This wasn't just football. This was a full-blown QB soap opera, and everyone was watching. The talent gap, no contest, let's be honest. There aren't many people who think Dillon Gabriel is a better quarterback than Shedeur Sanders. Draft position aside, the eye test and the stat sheet don't lie. Even if the Browns' front office saw something special in Gabriel, the rest of the football world was skeptical. And as training camp unfolded, those doubts only grew louder. Gabriel arrived at camp ready to compete, helmet gleaming, confidence high. But then Shedeur Sanders walked in. Cooler than a Gatorade commercial, smoother than Wi-Fi in a billionaire's mansion. Within minutes, Gabriel wasn't just outplayed. He was, as the internet joked, legally offended. Shedeur Sanders was the human cheat code. The Browns drafted two quarterbacks for a reason: to create competition, to make headlines, and maybe, just maybe, to find their franchise guy. Shedeur Sanders, with his off-field charisma and on-field poise, was already a polarizing figure. But if he could put it all together on the field, he'd be a legend. And that's exactly what he did. Shedeur didn't just throw footballs, he threw problems. His spirals were so clean, they probably violated airspace regulations. His routes were so precise that defensive backs were asking for directions. Meanwhile, Gabriel was left flipping through the playbook, trying to remember what page he was on. The battle of public opinion. Here's the thing: social media loves Shedeur Sanders. He's a cultural icon, a trendsetter, the guy everyone wants to be around. Even the rookies at camp were mimicking his signature pose. Wrist up, showing off the watch. For Gabriel, it was an uphill battle. He was drafted before Shedeur Sanders, but all anyone wanted to talk about was Sanders. The rumor mill didn't just spin, it caught fire. Coaches whispered, teammates chuckled, and Gabriel allegedly did what any quarterback would do after getting metaphorically pantsed on the practice field. He called his lawyers. Different paths, same destination. Both rookie QBs were being positioned to start games this season, but their developmental paths couldn't have been more different. Shedeur was being carefully nurtured in a controlled environment, while Gabriel was thrown directly into the fire against the team's best defenders. Gabriel got first-team reps working with veterans like Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett. Shedeur, meanwhile, often worked with the second and third stringers on a different field. But let's be real, there was no lawsuit titled Embarrassed versus Sanders. Still, this was football's version of an HR complaint. Shedeur's show. No auditions, just dominance. Shedeur showed up with the energy of a man on a mission. This wasn't just practice. It was a highlight tape in the making. Gabriel, the supposed veteran, was supposed to compete, but Shedeur Sanders turned the field into his stage and dropped a one-man show titled "This Is My Offense Now." There were no auditions, just dominance. Shedeur wasn't just efficient, he was disrespectful. He wasn't throwing into windows, he was inventing new ones. Sidearms, deep bombs, quick slants, the occasional no-look for pure flavor. Meanwhile, Gabriel was throwing checkdowns like he was hoping for a sympathy hug. The locker room gets spicy word leaked that Gabriel's camp might have taken issue with how things unfolded. Not officially, of course. No one wants to admit they got shredded by a man with his own soundtrack. But unofficially, there were whispers about unfair treatment, playbook bias, maybe even hostile throwing environments. Suddenly, lawyers were involved. You know, things are bad when the legal team needs to watch game film. But here's the kicker. Shedeur wasn't even trying to humiliate anyone. He was just being himself. Cool under pressure, lethal with the football, and always camera ready. He didn't point fingers. He didn't talk trash. He just threw touchdown after touchdown like it was a group project, and he was the only one who did the homework. This is where things get messy. Browns fans found themselves divided. Some supported Gabriel. Others were all in on Shedeur Sanders. But here's the truth. It's okay to support both rookie quarterbacks. Still, when the lights hit and the tempo picks up, it's clear who's running the show and who's calling tech support. Receivers started gravitating toward Shedeur like he had his own gravitational pull. One rep with him, and they were sprinting routes like their draft stock depended on it. With Gabriel, it was more like PE on a rainy Tuesday. The whispers grew louder. Could Gabriel transfer again? Could he really spend a whole season on the bench, being reminded daily that he's not QB1, not even QB-ish? More like QB, why is he still here? But it wasn't just about being outplayed. It was about how Shedeur outplayed him with style, swagger, and that unbothered energy that screams, "I've been that guy and I'm only getting better." It wasn't a fluke, it wasn't a hot day, it was a clinic, and Gabriel had front row seats every single snap. By the end of practice, even the equipment staff was watching Shedeur Sanders throws like they were front row at Coachella. The internet, of course, ate it up. Twitter was full of memes, TikTok had slow-mo edits of Shedeur's throws. Someone on Reddit was already photoshopping courtroom sketches like this was a QB custody battle. You can have the short routes, Dillon, but the deep balls, sole legal possession. Shedeur Sanders, the scoreboard doesn't lie. By day 3 of camp, Shedeur had gone from quarterback to cultural event. Gabriel was trending, but not for the right reasons. If Shedeur is already rewriting the playbook and possibly triggering litigation by existing too confidently, what happens when the real games begin? Let's be honest, Gabriel's biggest competition isn't Shedeur's stats. Shedeur Sanders' momentum. You can't file a motion to dismiss someone who just turned training camp into a Netflix documentary. The man's not just QB1, he's the whole trailer. The receipts are flying. Who lied and said Gabriel was looking better than Shedeur at practice? The evidence was everywhere. Gabriel's throws were short, effortful, and uninspiring. Shedeur, meanwhile, looked like Tom Brady incarnated, poised, professional, and in total command. And just when you thought Gabriel had quietly accepted his fate as background noise in the Shedeur Sanders highlight reel, he allegedly went full drama mode. Not just a subtle PR campaign or a cryptic Instagram story. No, this man allegedly pulled out the legal playbook because apparently getting shown up in practice wasn't just a personal L, it was an actionable offense. And the fans are watching loudly. Every dropped pass from Gabriel became a standing ovation moment for Shedeur by default. Even the haters, those glorious online trolls, were running out of excuses. Now they were shifting the narrative. Well, maybe Dillon just isn't NFL material. As if they hadn't spent months hyping him up as the next big thing. Turns out all it took was a little spotlight to expose the gap. Shedeur didn't just outplay Gabriel, he revealed the ceiling. And Gabriel's ceiling looked suspiciously like a backup clipboard with a Starbucks order on the back. No hate, Just facts. There's no hate against Dillon Gabriel. He's a talented guy, but just look at the difference. They threw to the same wide receiver. Guess whose pass looked better? Shedeur's, no glaze, no bias, just fact. And what's even more hilarious, Gabriel's fall from grace wasn't because of a scandal or injury. He just got a front row seat to Shedeur Sanders' experience. Now the receipts are flying like confetti at a championship parade. Coaches aren't whispering anymore. They're making eye contact. Reporters aren't speculating. They're compiling highlight reels. Even practice squad players are giving Gabriel that awkward, "I believe in you, bro," pat on the back that screams, "You're done here." Shedeur Sanders' silent domination. Amidst all the chaos, Shedeur isn't just bawling out. He's doing it with effortless composure. No gloating, no interviews full of subtext, just silent domination. He's that rare type of quarterback who doesn't need the spotlight, because the spotlight finds him anyway. Even when he's off the field, the conversation circles back to him. He's not demanding attention, he's earning it. Snap after snap. The numbers don't lie. Let's talk numbers. Oregon had more talent, more players drafted, but Colorado's 3 drafted receivers? 2 of them wouldn't have been picked if it weren't for Shedeur. He was sacked 39 times this year, partly because of a weak O-line, but he still delivered. He wasn't handed the keys. He earned every rep, every snap, every red. Now that he's getting first-team reps, it's over. The offense doesn't just function under Shedeur Sanders, it thrives. Plays are cleaner, timing is crisper, receivers are running routes with Olympic enthusiasm. Even the O-line blocks like their rent depends on it. Coaches are smiling wider, cameras linger longer, defensive coordinators are updating their resumes, making statements, not just plays. Shedeur Sanders isn't just making plays. He's making statements. Every dime he drops is a subtle reminder that all the doubters, all the "he's just Deion's son" talk, all the haters, it was nonsense. The man is legit, not just college-level good, NFL scout watching from the bleachers good. He's got poise, IQ, and that freaky clutch gene that makes you believe he could convert 3rd and 22 barefoot in a hurricane. Even the most stubborn critics are starting to flinch. They wanted him to falter. They needed him to stumble. Instead, he leveled up, took every rep, every snap, every read, and turned them into art. It's not just football anymore. It's a public lesson in quarterback supremacy. The sudden realization. The 144th pick, 5th-round QB, is outplaying Dillon Gabriel. It's happening. We're all witnessing it live and direct. Gabriel isn't a bad player, but have you seen him stand beside Shedeur? It's not even close. You want your QBs to see over the line of scrimmage. Shedeur's got the size, the arm, the vision. Meanwhile, Gabriel's reps are starting to feel like a courtesy, like someone lost a bet, and now they have to pretend this competition is still a thing. Every pass he throws feels like a fragile attempt to delay the inevitable. Every second Shedeur spends on the field is a billboard-sized message to the entire league. I'm coming. The inevitable truth. At this point, you don't need a coach to name Shedeur QB1. The team already knows. The fans already know. Heck, Gabriel probably knows. That's why the legal angle ever came up to begin with. It's not about fair chances. It's about delaying the cold, hard truth. When Shedeur steps on the field, it's game over for whoever's standing in his way, even if that someone shows up with lawyers. So, what happens next? Maybe Gabriel's legal action was just locker room gossip. Maybe it was a real attempt to change the narrative, but in the age of viral everything, it didn't take long for the internet to grab the story and run. The memes, the slow-mo edits, the courtroom sketches, they're all part of the legend now. But here's the real story. Shedeur Sanders didn't just win the quarterback battle, he changed the game. He turned training camp into a cultural event, a viral sensation, and a masterclass in what it means to be QB1. And as for Dillon Gabriel, he'll have to find a new playbook because the old one just got rewritten. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to subscribe, share, and stay tuned, because in the NFL, the real drama is just getting started.